Are you a good test taker or not? Hi y'all, and welcome back to my channel. It's your girl Marie Chalet, and we are back with another video. Now in today's video, we're going to be following up on my last video, which was my NCLEX day vlog. I passed my NCLEX in 75 questions. I'm so happy about that. But now I want you guys to do the same thing, whether it's LVN or are in NCLEX. I don't care how many questions you pass it in. I just want you to pass it. So in today's video, I'm going to be sharing how I studied and passed my NCLEX and some tips that can help others. Go ahead and subscribe to my channel right now because I have some awesome content coming up for you, whether you like nursing or not. We're going to be doing a little bit of everything on this channel. I reply to all comments and I will keep it that way for as long as I can. Now with all that housekeeping out the way, let's get into the video. So if this is your first time on my channel, I am a licensed vocational nurse in California. I took my NCLEX July 17th, 2022, and I became a licensed registered nurse in California as well. I passed both my NCLEX RN and my NCLEX LVN in the minimum amount of questions and on my first try. So I want to help you guys in whatever way that I can so that you can pass your NCLEX too. I don't care if it's in 165 questions or 205 questions. I have been practicing as a licensed vocational nurse in California since 2014. This is my 8th year being an LVN. I just want you to know that because I feel like it did give me a slight advantage taking the NCLEX RN. However, remember, I passed both mine on the first try, so I feel like I can give anyone some good tips. First, I would like to tell you how I decided to study for my NCLEX. There are so many resources and people out there that are teaching you how to study NCLEX and doing all types of reviews, and it can be overwhelming, right? So I decided that I was going to choose one person to listen to for my NCLEX review. The reason why I did this is because I know for a fact, even with nursing books, you can read one book and it says one thing, and you can read another book and it says another thing. So that being said, when you listen to different people, sometimes they're going to say different things and it can start to confuse somebody. I didn't want to be confused like that, so I picked one person, which was Mark Klemek, or Mark K. I'm gonna just call him Mark K. to listen to because I heard so many people saying that they listened to him. I hadn't heard of him before. He was around when I took my LVN, but I had not heard of him. So I decided to listen to his lectures to study for my NCLEX. Along with his lectures, I decided that I would do UWorld because, again, I heard so many people saying that UWorld was the best study bank to practice from to get ready for your NCLEX. For my NCLEX, I scheduled my NCLEX for June 25th. I didn't tell anybody that I was going to be taking my NCLEX on that day. However, June 19th, I came down with COVID symptoms. Come to find out, I actually had COVID and I had to postpone my test. However, leading up to the 19th, I was listening to Mark K's lectures. I listened to all 12 of his lectures and I practiced UWorld according to the lectures that I listened to. For example, he has a prioritization and delegation lecture. When I listened to that lecture, I went to UWorld and I practiced those questions. When I listened to his maternity lecture, I went to UWorld and I practiced maternity questions, so on and so forth. That way, I was actually putting the tips and things that he said in his lectures to you. This is what I recommend people to do because you realize that, hey, I would have answered this question in a different way without listening to this person's lecture or review first. So it's important to put the things that you are doing to use when you are taking these assessments and doing these practice questions, okay? UWorld does have an NCLEX PN and an NCLEX RN, so you can study for either NCLEX with UWorld as well. Mark K's lectures were really good. I found them on YouTube. However, for a little while they have been taking their lectures off of YouTube for copyright infringement, so it's getting harder to find those lectures. With that being said, if you are not able to find Mark Clemick's lectures because they do live and in-person lectures, I would suggest doing an online course with the company or finding somebody that is comparable that does a great NCLEX review program and sticking with that one person if you feel like you can learn from them really well. Make sure that their teaching style meshes with how you are able to learn. The other thing is that there are a ton of YouTubers that get on here and they tell you that they did all 2,000 of UWorld's questions. I did not. I do not recommend what I did. But what I will tell you is that once I got sick with COVID, I rescheduled my exam for July 17th and I pooped out. I took a long break, and before I knew it, it was a week until my NCLEX was going to be again. So I kind of started to panic. I started to re-listen to Mark K's lectures. I got through about 6 of them again, and I did some more UWorld questions. You guys, I don't recommend this at all, but I only did about 200 UWorld questions total. That's what I did. I know that I tend to be a good test taker, but I just want to be honest with you and tell you what I did. When I was getting closer in that week, I also started to throw in some longer lectures from Simple Nursing. He has a ton of YouTube videos that you can go to listen to, which he has a really good lab lecture. See if his style is what you connect with. If it is, you can either watch all of his YouTube videos or you can choose to purchase his program, which will help you review NCLEX. The same with Registered Nursing RN. She has really good YouTube videos, and I believe she has additional things that you can purchase to study for your NCLEX. Another great free resource is NCLEX High Yield. They have a podcast that you can listen to. I listen to mine on Spotify because I love Spotify and that's what I have, but they have podcasts that you can listen to anywhere, and they also do weekly NCLEX reviews, and they have really good NCLEX reviews. So take your choice. Again, I don't recommend mixing content, but you can just keep in mind that some people are going to say different things, so don't let that confuse you. You have to remember that safety is the bottom line. As long as you're being a safe practitioner, you will be okay in this test. One other housekeeping thing, make sure you always check the description box below. I'm going to always be putting the timestamps for certain things in the video and any other additional information, including my social media handles. So make sure you follow me on Twitter, Instagram, Pinterest, and wherever else I have down there. Always check the description box below. Thank you. Now let's talk about the NCLEX and how the format is. The abbreviation is a CAT. CAT, which I believe stands for Computer Adaptive Test. The Computer Adaptive Test means that depending on how you answer the first question is going to be indicative of which is going to be your next question. If you get that question right, you have a 50-50 chance of getting the next question right, and the same if you get it wrong. So basically it adapts to how well you are answering questions. If you're answering questions really well, it continues to get harder and you may see more select all that apply questions or tougher types of questions. If you get a question wrong, it's going to give you an easier question that you still have a 50-50 chance of answering correctly. Because you're not getting a lot of select all that apply, or because you are getting a lot of select all that apply, does not tell you how you're going to do on the test. Now I'm going to move into the tips you need to know for studying to take your NCLEX. Remember, when you're studying for your NCLEX, you already know a lot. You know a ton. You've learned so much over the last year, 2 years, or however long it's been for your nursing program. Keep that in mind. You don't have to relearn everything. You don't have to go and reread your entire textbook to study for NCLEX. That is not how you study for NCLEX. Knowing what the NCLEX is testing you for is so important. The NCLEX is testing you to make sure that at a minimum, you will be a safe practitioner for your patient. That means that you're gonna have to know minimum nursing skills, because they know that you will learn most of this on the job. You just need to know what you need to report either to your RN if you're doing an LVN or LPN NCLEX, and to the doctor if you're doing an LVN or RN NCLEX. So knowing what you need to report is very important. Priority questions are going to be heavy on everyone's NCLEX. Now, as far as maternity, pediatrics, things of that nature, it all depends on how much each person will get of that because of how the NCLEX is. Just remember that you are not relearning everything. Yes, you will have to go over certain diseases, certain disease processes, certain lab medications, procedures, and things of that nature that are going to pertain to your patient's safety. However, you are not relearning everything. You are now reviewing what you already learned. That is going to help you study so much. Hey! Now, I am going to move into some tips that are going to help you personally with your NCLEX. And I always encourage people to reach out to me, because I will respond to you if you DM me, and I will try and help you as much as I can if you have any questions about anything that is ever mentioned in any of my videos. As I mentioned earlier, I tend to be a good test taker. That is one of the important things you're going to need to know. Are you a good test taker or not? Do you have anxiety when you start to prepare to take your test? You're going to need to do things to lower your anxiety, to understand why you are not a good test taker, and to do things that are going to improve your test taking strategies. There are tons of strategies that work for people that are not good test takers, and the best thing you can do is to practice these strategies, guess what, while you're taking a test. Put yourself in the same situations and practice these strategies so that you can develop that stamina to become a good test taker. Remember, NCLEX, you're either going to be doing 75 questions at a minimum or 205 questions at a maximum. So it really just depends on which test you're taking, but you want to build up the stamina, and you also want to build up so that you don't start getting test anxiety and missing questions because you're nervous. The next thing I want to talk about is understanding the question. You've probably heard this a million times, but I like to break this down because it's something that really trips people up. When a question asks, who do you want to see first? You're going to automatically know that that is a priority type of question. That means that you're going to be looking for the sickest patient on that list. When a question asks, who will you discharge first? That means that you are going to be looking for the most stable patient on that list, and which patient is ready to go home, because you have another patient that's coming in that is way sicker than them and they need that bed. Another set of words that trip people up is best and first. So you want to make sure that you know which is best and which thing you should do first. Also, make sure that you look at the answer choices. Sometimes if you have 4 choices, you can immediately get rid of 3. This does not matter if you actually know the information. You can just know that those 3 things could not possibly be the answer. When you're left with 1 choice, that is your choice. NCLEX is not a test that tries to trick people whatsoever. NCLEX wants to know that you know the information. When we were in nursing school, you know, I know, you know, that we got tricked like crazy on those tests. Those tests were absolutely insane. If you know what I'm talking about, comment down below. But the NCLEX is not like that. That's what nursing school was preparing us for, to get to the NCLEX. Sometimes on the NCLEX, you're thinking that it's so simple it couldn't be the answer because it's just too simple. And that's not the case. The NCLEX is not trying to trip you up. The NCLEX is trying to make sure that you are a safe practitioner. So a lot of times if you think it's the answer, it's the answer. It's not a trick question. They just want to make sure you know the information. Make sure that when you are practicing, you're practicing questions and you're practicing how to answer them. Even if you don't know the answer, fall back on the knowledge that you do have and eliminate as many answer choices as possible. And if you have to pick between 2 or 3, pick the best answer that you think relates to what they are asking. If you haven't already, go ahead and check out my NCLEX day vlog. It is amazingly emotional but also just amazing. So go ahead and check that out right here. I will see you guys in my next video. I hope this helped. Like I told you, reach out to me. I love it when I hear from y'all. Like, comment, share this video, subscribe to my channel, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye.